This video is sponsored by the all-in-one website and business management software, Odoo. Use my link in the description to get started for free. We all want to be reasonable, for the most part. We all want to be fair, accommodating, and considerate. And rightfully so. These are wonderful qualities, and those who exhibit them are some of the loveliest people in the world. To work with, to live with, to be friends with, to be in love with. But a problem can often emerge in the pursuit of this objective. One that, if we are not careful, can quietly derail our life and severely limit our potential. What is reasonable? How do we know in any given situation? How do we know whether we are denying ourselves and shifting our standards simply to please others? Generally, we all derived our sense of reasonability and fairness through the process of socialization. At a young age, we tested the lines and limits of what is and isn't reasonable through modes of play and experimentation, gauging the responses of others and registering when things worked, when they led to shared satisfaction, or when they led to conflict. Through this, we, hopefully, began to understand the nature of requests, of participation, of assistance, of patience, of expectations, of frustration, of standing up for oneself, and respecting when others do the same. But of course, like with all things, it is rarely that clean for most of us. We were all limited to the people and situations we had access to in our formative years, and we were all skewed by the people and situations we were most exposed to. As children, we learned from both the insights and the flaws of those close to us. For some of us, we might have learned the wrong idea of what is or isn't reasonable. Perhaps our parents, an early teacher or friend, or our environment at large taught us that what we thought was reasonable was not. Maybe in order to survive, or feel as though we would, or to love, or feel as though we were, we needed to constantly accommodate the standards of others and quell our own, regardless of what was truly fair or reasonable. Or maybe this was not the case, and early on, we formed a mostly accurate understanding of reasonability. But over time, our sense eroded and distorted, new experiences recalibrating our perception and replacing our fervor and conviction with self-doubt and trepidation. In either case, if we experienced anything of the sort, one day, we likely found ourselves waking up in a bed of resentment, covered by a blanket of self-denial. And it wasn't very cozy anymore. Regardless of how we might have got here, what matters now is getting up, setting or resetting a proper understanding of what we owe others and what others owe us. We must, again or for the first time, find where reasonableness ends and the constant placation of others begins. The intention to be reasonable can easily become blurred together with being pleasing. Part of the foundation of this conundrum is often quite simple and endearing: wanting to be liked. Wanting others to like us is an inbuilt and healthy desire. We should want to be liked, and we should be liked. Being unliked or difficult is not a sign of strength, greatness, or independence. It is often rather a sign of carelessness and crassness, an inability or disinterest in understanding and connecting with others. Stop caring what others think, people often say as a common piece of advice. When considered and understood with nuance, this idea can no doubt be liberating, but when taken at face value, to some relative extreme, it can be terrible. We must care what others think if we wish to be a good friend, a good colleague, a good partner, and a good person. The point, however, is also caring about what we think. And we simply cannot do this while also caring about what everyone thinks. Here lies an essential distinction: others versus everyone. The key, of course, is being liked by the right people for the right reasons, caring deeply about what those individuals think, and largely disregarding the rest. Inevitably, across life, to some, our expectations, standards, desires, or hopes will be unreasonable or exasperating. Of course, there is always the chance that we are being unreasonable or exasperating, and it's important to honestly take into account what kind of temperament we might possess and how we might be clashing with the norms of certain situations. We could strive to better grasp where we stand by seeking outside opinions from people we trust, looking for insights online, utilizing a therapist, or taking our time with honest evaluations. But if we've done this, of course, it is also possible that we are being reasonable, and the other person, people, or situation in question are not. Or perhaps they are simply not compatible with us. Perhaps our expectations are higher. Perhaps they are different. Perhaps they have yet to be properly expressed. In all cases, what matters at this point is articulating them and then being willing to accept the consequences. Unpleasant conversations or moments, making hard choices for ourselves, being disliked, losing people or things, and so on. As difficult as any of this might be, and it surely is, the alternative consequence is arguably far worse. In reducing or silencing our own expectations or preferences, we are still being unreasonable. Only in this case, it is to the one person we must live with in every moment. In expressing what we think is fair and not letting others always tell us that we are wrong or being dramatic, excessive, intense, or whatever else, we are, in one stroke, improving the relationship or situation at hand or determining its incompatibility. At bottom, none of us are really after being completely liked or pleasant. Pleasantness is the dopamine that distracts us from our true pursuit of its serotonin counterpart, respect. What we all really want is respect, mutual respect. As Hermann Hesse beautifully expressed in his novel, Narcissus and Goldmund, we are sun and moon, dear friend. We are sea and land. It is not our purpose to become each other. It is to recognize each other, to learn to see the other and honor him for what he is, each the other's opposite and complement. Harmony does not come from force or assimilation, but from expressed sincerity and mutual respect. In the end, there is neither respect gained for oneself nor given to others by being quiet about what we feel is fair. To think that someone else is not capable of hearing out our perspective and working toward an equitable arrangement is almost certainly a greater insult than any polite deployment of frustration. And for anyone who cannot handle our realistic discontentment, critique, or challenge, if we have a spine, then we also have the legs to walk away. And that is reasonable. The world loves to tell us what we should and shouldn't pursue, what's reasonable and possible. If we are not careful, we can easily be swayed by this, pushed away from our own interests and hopes. But the task of life is to make it our own, to define what is right and possible for ourselves. This video's sponsor, Odoo, makes this task more accessible than ever. Whatever path we choose in life, for many of us, having a professional, fully functioning website and the tools to manage it is essential, and Odoo makes that process quick and intuitive for anyone. If, for example, you wanted to create a web store to sell your art or products, Odoo allows you to get this up and running quickly and with no coding or technical experience. Just fill out a few prompts, choose the color palette you like, determine the features you want, pick the theme that resonates, and then it's a simple drag and drop process until you have exactly what you envisioned. The result is a beautiful, fully functioning website in minutes and for free. Odoo offers your first app, including the website builder, completely for free, with unlimited hosting and support, plus your domain name for free for the first year. And once your website is up and running, Odoo has a full suite of integrated apps for things like accounting, inventory management, assisting with project goals, and much more, bringing essentially everything you'll ever need to run your business or build your project into one place. Get started on your own vision today for free by using my link in the description. And of course, as always, thank you so much for watching in general, and see you next video.